what? Something about motion?
Come on, commercial.
I think we're in the room that is like 80,000 miles away from the whole con. People are still like walking their way up here. But you know what? We're going to get started. We'll get going. They can join in the conversation when they get here, if they get here. How are we? Hi guys, welcome to the BOP, the Blerd Official Podcast. We are so excited, yes. We are so excited you are here. We love coming to MomoCon, right?
No, we don't.
We do, we love it. How about you?
I do.
Your first Comic-Con ever was MomoCon, which was last year. Now she's gone to like 20.
Anniversary. My MomoCon anniversary.
I actually had a highlight in my phone. My picture was sent to me this morning saying, memory, a year ago. And I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a big deal.
I know. It's so much fun. But what I love about MomoCon, what I love about Atlanta is that, I mean, we show up and show out. Like this is, I mean, literally, Atlanta is spoiled because you go to any other con and we're a very small percentage, except for BlerdCon. we, all of us, are a very small percentage in the cosplay world, in the con world. But here in Atlanta, we show up and show out, BlerdCon. So it's very much for me like a family reunion.
Homecoming.
It's so very funny how in certain communities when they talk about like black conventions, that people will come in and be like, MomoCon's black. And it'll be like, well, black people go. I was talking with the organizer, Chris Stuckey and Jess Merriman, and I was making this joke with him. It was like, people think y'all a black con. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to put no pressure on you, but people probably gonna wonder if you're black or not.
Hey, like, I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's a high bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, to have a con that is open and inclusive, and then be black. Like that, you don't have to go all the way. You can be inclusive, you can be representative, and you can be of any race, gender.
Absolutely.
And that's what counts.
Absolutely. So how do you feel? Because you've gone to several cons.
Yes.
But MomoCon feels a certain way.
It does. Out of all of them I've been to since this time last year, and all through the rest of the year, yes, this is the most blerdy space I've been in with all of them. So it feels so good. It's just, again, any Comic-Con is already just that safe space for everyone to be creative, be who you are, be who you want to be. So I appreciate that to the fullest. But then when you add that extra layer of color and sauce and, that extra thing, it makes it even sweeter. So it's already sweet. We just make it sweeter. And
it's like a little Lowry seasoned salt sprinkled on everything on the plate. It just brings everything up a notch.
No, we don't do Lowry's. It's the slap your mama. If y'all don't use slap your mama,
I use the Louisiana seasoned salt. That one is to me is better than slap your mama and Lowry's.
Right,
yeah, it's okay. You gotta use it gingerly.
Not gingerly.
Gingerly. A little goes a long way.
It tastes so good, but then you hear the blood whistling through your arteries.
That just makes sure you know you're alive.
You can hear the blood going into your brain. You're okay.
Yes.
That's when you stop hearing that you're heading to the astral plane.
Blerd space.
Ooh, that chicken was off the hook.
Oh my God. That's the other side of blerd space, when you got to start talking about the food and what we putting in the food, on the food,
that's
around
all we
the food.
do is eat. Darn you, MomoCon, messing up my diet. All of Atlanta on Atkins.
They got some good food here too.
Yep.
Oh, Atlanta, you can eat your way through this place. Like it's like soul food, seafood, Korean food, Thai food. Like
we're making ourselves take a break tonight. Like
I know, we're like, okay, we're going straight to the hotel. We're not eating out.
We are all on punishment because we've been showing out since.
Yeah, we've been literally eating everything in this city.
It's wonderful.
But really good. And I mean, really good seafood. I love it. So this is my question. You guys come to cons. What is because he and I, we both own cons. She's starting to come in. We got her working at the cons with us. She's part of the team. What are the things that you love when you come to Comic-Con? Like, what are the things that you like? Do you come because you want to shop the vendors? Do you come because you want to cosplay? Do you come because this is the place you get to see all your friends that you haven't seen? Or, like, what is it that makes you really like say, okay, I got to come every single year? Because I know most of you have come to this show every single year for quite a number of years. Anybody? Yes, please.
Just for me personally, I think this is therapy for me. Just because, growing up black and, we don't do that type of thing mentality throughout all our lives. So for me, this is like a safe space. It's like heaven on earth. And I get to come and do all my cosplay photography, get to do my content. I get to meet my heroes who I grew up watching and idolized.
Thank you, brother. I really.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, it's you, Hilton. He came.
I could have saved somebody from getting hit by a car, and I might not have known it was you. And then
Yeah.
Okay,
we talk about that.
I'm glad you got that kind of confidence.
But,
You know what I'm saying? One thing, no, it's cool. One thing I was going to say that I love hearing, because that is what when I started attending cons. I started doing cons like 15 years ago. It's crazy. And I mean, they were small, and then all of a sudden they just blew up, and we started going to these huge shows. But one thing I always felt was like, the weirder you are, the cooler you are at Comic-Con.
Yes.
Like that's one place you can go and just completely be yourself. And you brought up a really good point, and we've talked about this on our show where, it's not always easy for people of color to come to a show and admit that they're nerds. Because it's almost like our culture wants us to be cool, wants us to be, like, we're almost too cool for school, but it's like, we obviously like this stuff.
Yes.
You walk out in this con, we're here by the thousands.
Yes.
So it's like, it's just so, it's like music to my ears that it's therapy for you. That's
we said
beautiful.
this in another session where we talk about how this is where you are actually yourself. It's when you go to work on Monday and you put on your polo and your khakis where you're actually cosplaying.
Yeah.
Like you
Yes.
have to be, you got to be
That's
the
good.
employee, and you got to walk a certain way, talk a certain way. You got to kind of edit back, pull back the nerdiness, because everybody's not going to get that reference. The reference. You got a real good nerd joke you want to
Yeah.
have. But you're like,
Yeah.
you look around the room and you're like, ain't nobody gonna get this damn joke. Look at this. Back up. It's not my show. But here, you can be weird. And I invited some muggles. I actually have a friend of mine who's
Right.
coming. And he's like, should I wear anything? I was like, listen, if you come here looking corporate, people gonna think you're and you are here to apprehend somebody.
Right, we're
I
like,
said,
who's that?
Right. You can't come here with the outside swag. You got to let your freak flag fly.
Yes.
If you got a fandom, if you got like a certain type of bend to you, there's something you want to express, you got to put it on, and this is where you do it. Otherwise, people look at you like, are you looking for your child? Like,
Yeah.
do you work here?
Are you Popo? Like, what's happening here? Like, it's funny because we always call Christi, she's our resident mom, because she is the mom of the group. And but you have kids that are really into the geek culture.
Yes,
And
yes.
when she first came to, it was like so hilarious to me, because when she came last year for the first con,
Kid
she
in
was
a
like,
candy shop.
oh, and she's like running around taking pictures of everyone. I'm like,
All
you
year.
are embarrassing me. Like, she would go crazy over everything, but I get it, because you have kids that, her son came to one of the shows and he was just like alive.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And he's an introvert.
He is, very much so. Doesn't want to be around a bunch of people, but he's a creative, and so all of them are. And what I love about it, just piggybacking off of y'all's comments, that code switch that we have to live in every single day. Like, this is the place. And I tell people, we are not black people. We are not a monolith. We have so many things. We have so many layers and so many aspects to us, culturally and just even collectively and individually, right? What I love so much is that you get to come here, and the freedom of just being, like, I envy everybody. I can't wait to I'm gonna make the time, find resources, because I'm determined. One of these, I keep telling her, one of these cons, one, I'm gonna be a Yellow Ranger for one, and then two, and I'm probably gonna get me some bangs, y'all. I'm gonna be Bobby Socks and Bangs, Aisha.
OG,
One of these
season
cons.
2 OG Aisha.
Yes, and so, but I want to do things. Like, I have characters, I love movies, and again, I feel like I am the rookie on the team when it comes to
That's good, though.
Comic-Cons, but I love them so much. And one more thing I will say is, when I take my intel back to those who say, oh, that's not what we do, and that's weird, and what are y'all doing, and what's happening there? Like, I am the advocate. I advertise. I'm like, listen, come get your life at a Comic-Con.
Right? Because it's
Come
now,
get your
I think
life.
the world's catching up to us. It's chic to be geek now. Like, people are realizing, like, oh no, this is cool. This is fun. Like, you know, and one thing I will say that I, like, another layer to it is that you can cosplay as any character. Like, it's not gender specific. It's not, you know, race specific. It's not even like whoever. I saw a guy in a Wonder Woman costume. It was like the best Wonder Woman costume. And I was like, oh, like I was just going crazy. But it's like, be you know, and enjoy yourself. I think that's one of the things that is very hard to do in life. Because y'all know life be lifing. You know? So it's almost like when we get to con, whatever's happening in life, it all stays there. At least we don't feel it. Like everybody is walking around with a smile on their face and they're happy. And so what else is somebody else? What is your thing when you come to cons? Like, is it coming, you know, to see the artist? Is it coming to, you know, meet people? Or what is it that brings you to the cons? Because I know there are specific things that have you guys come in. Yes?
Panels.
Panels.
Coming to panels, sharing ideas.
Just happened to be
hearing.
here.
This is like my thing.
Yeah.
A for the day.
I agree. It's really cool to hear like different stories and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I was on a panel last year in the room upstairs, and the panelists somehow were talking about, from what they were talking about the topic, to a whole panel-wide story about muffin soldiers, and, and just everybody just adding in input, and it was like the most fun experience.
I love it.
As
See?
much as I really need to follow up with this and find out what a muffin soldier
Yes, I need to be
because
educated.
it's a little close to lunch, and I'm like,
Muffins.
you know, they're like, is that a food truck? Is that like,
Yeah.
you
Is
know,
that those hot donuts in the back?
Right,
Like,
right. Oh, you with
if
the
you-
hot donuts.
yeah,
This one
we
here.
got the hot donuts, y'all.
Oh, you got the hot donuts?
We got them and ate them.
Yeah, we ate them.
Okay.
Like, they did not stand a chance.
First of all, I didn't know hot donuts, so
They were gone by the time we got.
we got here at the same time.
Right.
Same time.
You were there, and I had
And-
three things of hot donuts.
And
missed the
I
donut.
saw none.
Yeah.
I tasted none.
Salted caramel, glazed,
And
powdered sugar.
Right.
Get the hot donuts in the
I
back.
do want to say something though.
By the wrestling match.
To Christi's point is that don't be shy about commissioning. You know, there is in the cosplay world there is this kind of divide about, okay, in order to cosplay, I've got to create or build a cosplay.
Right.
And if you don't have any experience doing it, it becomes a barrier. You know, because some people have a lab, some people got a shop, some people have a space where they're either sewing or they're gluing, and they can kind of piece together the cosplays that they want. And there's a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff, but then, you know, a lot of us don't have that. And so there's nothing wrong, Chris would just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna find somebody who like could make it, or there's some shop that maybe sells components of it and just do it. Because like even in my cosplay life, I'm a hack. I don't build anything. I don't make anything. I don't sew anything. I'm a glue demon. Like I will glue anything together. Fabric, plastic, glue is my, you know. So I can't go to cons that's like over 80 degrees because then I'll be like just falling apart. Like,
Yeah.
So you know that idea kind of becomes a barrier. When I talk to newly exposed blurs, like fresh out the closet, a lot of them feel like there's still some distance between where they're standing right now and those cosplayers over there.
Yeah.
Like I really want to cosplay, but I don't know if I can do it, or I can't do it as well as some of these people around. And I see people cosplay with cardboard boxes
Right?
and some
But
duct
like,
tape
yeah,
and
yeah.
rocking it like, yo, hey, this is my Gundam.
Right.
I'm like, bro, that is a UPS box. This morning,
It's those
and
free,
you
free
kill it.
boxes from USPS.
And you kill it. You know,
Don't
And
act like
that's
y'all
the-
don't go
and
get
that's
the
like
free
the cool
boxes from
thing.
USPS.
You know, that's like the
those
cool
free
thing.
priority boxes.
because we can, you know, we can be janky and still express ourselves, right?
Yes.
Like you can be in a janky cosplay that you threw together on your way out the door. And as long as you're having fun and you're understanding that this is not a contest, and people will ride with you and be like, hey, I see what you did there. You know, the belt don't match the shoes, but hey, you know what? I see where you went with it. Run it and have fun, because it's all about expression. And I think that's what I really, really love about the con scene is that you guys are expressing yourselves through your cosplay. You're not just oh, I'm wearing this because I look like Luke Cage and I'm bald and I have a beard, like, which you are bald. As people, you can't see him, I can see him.
Hey.
But there's something about that character that hits all your buttons.
Yes.
And you're out here walking and talking like Luke Cage, and people are calling you Luke Cage. They're not calling you by your Christian name, are they?
Not the Christian
Luke Cage.
The government name.
That's the difference between us and Halloween. Halloween, they call you Craig, right? And you go, huh? Yeah, but here it's like, I don't know, Craig.
I cosplay as Aisha. I put my Aisha face on every time I come to a con.
Oh, you Aisha, while you're standing here.
Yeah.
Clearly it says Karan Ashley.
Yeah, no,
oh my God, Aisha's here. I'm
they're like, no, girl, we ain't letting it go. I met you as Aisha. We gonna stay Aisha. Yeah, and these are perfectly normal people. They're just like, no, we're living a fantasy right now, and I'm holding on to that. Who else? What is something you love about cons? What brings you out? Yes, you guys in the back. One of you, either one of you.
I'll go first. I play a lot of RPGs, like rolling dice and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I don't play it in person. I usually play online.
Okay.
So I get to curate my groups, but like, I was just playing a game earlier, and I'm like, wow, I miss like the dice in my hand and like, full of other people. And it's also like nice because I'll see like other black people playing RPGs, and I'm like, it's not all just like white nerds in their 40s. Wow.
Not that there's anything wrong with white nerds in their 40s, but yeah, but it's like almost like you said, like it's almost like it's almost like the Wiz, like we are the Wizard of Oz. We finally seen behind the curtain who actually is in on this. I don't know why we pretended like we weren't geeks and why we didn't like just embrace it.
We've been like
But yeah, right? Like, but now we're like, okay, we're here.
Y'all literally
Yes.
had more gray hair in my head with that discussion.
Yes! That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to
But
do.
you know, we have to shout out, I'm gonna say this real quickly, but to your point,
Yeah.
and what you just
Yes.
said, we have to shout out the fact that people are creating the spaces. So those of you who own your own Comic-Cons, like I applaud you, hands, you are just, hands in
lot
the
of
air
work.
for y'all. So it's a lot of work, but you
Our
all,
cons own us.
Yeah, they
You
do.
are- you all are part of
Cars at
the,
some point.
you all are saving lives. I mean, literally, there are people who come here and they just are just spent in real life. So they get to come here and they get that, rejuvenation. And
So our hero.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, you grew up to be a real hero. No,
Yes,
but
you are
seriously,
really
like
right.
people tell us that all the time. Like I own a show here in Atlanta called Ranger Stop and Pop, and I mean we hear it all the time as like Power Rangers and like especially me and Walter, we'll do a lot of shows together, and people are like, the first time we saw two black people on Power Rangers and you look like me, or even the beautiful thing about that show is every single kid has had a ranger that looks like them. So whether it's whatever nationality, kinda.
I got some issues about that, but kinda.
Okay, I want to hear the issues. Tell me, what are the issues?
Well, I've been a heavy-set kid a lot of my life, and there are no heavy-set rangers.
There's been one guy, I don't know, but was he a ranger? I don't know if he was. It was a Beast Morphers. Was he a ranger officially? Let me look, hold on. It's one of the newer seasons, and I will say this, I agree with you. It needs to be, it needs to be more diverse as far as body type.
Yes,
I agree. 'Cause-
And with Dino
yeah.
Fury bringing in their first LGBT character,
Yes.
like that, like blew my mind. I never
Yeah.
thought Power Rangers would even go to that level.
We've brought that up for years, because I mean, we've kind of been like, we're not living in a bubble. Kids are definitely not living in a bubble. And I know any kid that goes to school, most of them have a friend, if not their own household, that has, or even just their, family, somebody in the family, So it's one of those things that needed to be recognized. Let me see, hold on, I'm gonna look this up, but keep talking.
I know the Yellow Hyperforce Ranger, even though it's not an official season, but
Right. Paulie?
Paulie, he's heavy set and also
Yeah.
played both in Power Rangers. So
Yeah.
seeing that was like, again, mind blowing. Never thought I would see that.
I know. I actually loved it because obviously he was a Yellow Ranger.
Yes.
But I loved it because you're right. Like I always felt at some point Bulk and Skull would find out about who we were, and I thought, oh, they'll become Rangers at some point, especially since they stayed on the show. So even though this is like, that RPG version of the game, but I'm glad that the producers who were producing the show at the time said, no, we're gonna have Paul come in and actually be a Ranger in this. So that was huge. Absolutely. I agree.
I also think that when it comes to a series like Power Rangers, you do have this relationship with Super Sentai, characters. So you kind of have to apply the physicality with it to
They
tie
still
the series.
use, they still use that footage.
Whereas like with like animated shows where you really have full creativity, you are seeing more diversity and you are seeing more insertion and representation. And even with like some of the just straight cast shows and movies that are out, there's like this sense of reflection, seeing someone that resonates with you on things that are intrinsic to you really does make a difference. And like I said, when like I watched the special, and it's just like the nostalgia was just mainlined. It was like a heroin shot of nostalgia. Just like, 9 years old again. Let me just get back in my overalls and get my big bowl of cereal and watch the show.
It was very nostalgic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you see this, as someone who has observed Karen in her element, and you just watch people just kind of just revert to their childhood the minute they lock eyes. It is like so important to them to see somebody, not only in a representative point, but the fact that even if you're not reflecting the person that you're talking to, the fact that you're there and you care about the interaction means so much to people. And I always felt like that was something really special. And you relish in that. And not everybody who's a star really relishes the being in the fan
She is very
space.
different.
She is definitely different. She loves people, and like I'm over here just
Well,
gushing.
thank you.
She got me over here gushing,
I
y'all.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I don't want to forget our brother in the back.
Yes.
Your turn.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you. Sorry. Caught you in mid-sip.
You did.
Sorry.
I guess the thing I wanted to bring up was not only seeing how these cons are slowly changing, but more importantly, for me, it's always a joy getting to meet people as they actually are, right? Because like as a kid, I loved this stuff, to the point where I was made fun of, got in fights, and the whole thing, right? When you leave, like I often say, like, you go out into the world, that's who you pretend to be, right? That is your like outside cosplay. But when people come here, I get to meet them for who they are, and I love that. I love being able to have conversations and see other people that look like me and actually celebrate those things. Watch the cosplays that they love and watch them express themselves in a very authentic way. So if there's one thing that I say I love, it's that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I agree.
Since y'all can't see him on camera, that's IQ. He is a nerd rapper who is on tour all over the world right now with Substantial, killing the game. So if y'all was wondering like, oh, is this some guy with like thick glasses and braces? Like, nah, he's brother like 6'7", 300 pounds. Ain't nobody messing with him now. You can do whatever you want to, bro. We ain't gonna mess with you, but maybe it's different growing up. But yeah, that's my man IQ in the back doing it up.
All right.
I love it.
Thank you for that.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. Who else? Anybody else? What's something that brings you to cons? That brings you, especially to a con like MomoCon,
Is that your hand?
Yeah, that's mine.
Like-
Okay,
I
let's
mean,
go.
probably just adding on the same thing. I'm a little more aged than everybody
Seasoned,
else in here.
Seasoned.
I'm more seasoned here, so I'm child of the 80s, child of the 70s, teenager of the 80s.
Nice.
So it was like, the whole thing was people would clown you because you like to read outside of reading. And, a lot of people hate math, that kind of thing. And then a whole lot of stuff changed in 1 year, 1977.
Okay.
Okay, so Star Wars
Star
came
Wars,
out.
I was gonna say.
Okay, Close Encounters came out. The Atari 2600 came out. The Apple II came out.
See?
And it was Apple II, TSRS-80, and the Commodore PET. Those people in computers affectionately call those the Trinity 77 now.
Yes.
Because the older Gen Xers cut their teeth on that. Folks like me cut their teeth on the Commodore 64. So for me, the only representation I saw was Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek reruns.
Yeah.
In the cartoons. And then we got a little more with Lando Calrissian, and I didn't really see any representation in anime until we got cable and I saw Robotech, and it was Claudia Grant. And she was she was another bridge,
Yeah.
officer. You know, so, yeah, but when I come here, and I kind of had a tear in my eye coming up here, because I'm looking at everybody looking like me, enjoying themselves,
Right.
and in their element in a way I couldn't be, and I'm just like, that's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really excites me because, like, you're right, even like, you know, just knowing that this generation is really able to be their authentic self in these spaces, like what that's doing for their mental health, what that's doing for just their spirit, you know? I don't know, I think I always say at the end of the day, everybody, the biggest thing you want is you want to be loved, you want to feel safe. And that's something that these shows definitely do. Even for me, you know, it's like people like they can't believe I'm like running around like oh, and I'm buying everything, and they can't believe. Yeah, well, I'm a little cooler than her. But I'm like go around buying all this stuff, and people are like, I can't believe you're into that, and I'm like, yeah, finally I'm with my people.
No, we as a people have, as a black community, have got internal conversations that we need to have, because there is there's a thread of anti-intellectualism that flows in the black community, right? We throw little colloquialisms at it that you probably don't even recognize when you hear them. You're like, oh, you old smarty heart, right? You know, there's this backlash of anything that seems to be, you know, smart or intelligent or studious, and you know, we kind of fight against that, you know, as Blerds, because you know, we are in households where we're considered weird. And that's one thing black people don't do, by the way, is weird. We love funny, you know, we love cute, you know, we love all of these other things, but when a black person tells you you're weird, that is a universal negative thing, right? And if you are the nerd in your family, and you get ready to go to like some kind of a joint function that involves like other black people outside the house, and your mama will be like, you're not gonna be weird.
Don't be weird.
Oh my God.
Right.
Let me see what you're wearing. Let me see what you're wearing. Bring it downstairs. Come on. No. You can wear one piece of nerd gear. You cannot wear two. You're gonna wear one shirt, not the hat, like, because you're not gonna make me look crazy over here at this church function.
Not gonna make me look crazy.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, this is how we. I mean, this is not even ancient history. Like,
No,
this is
like for real.
Right, I'm the only nerd in my family,
Yeah.
and my parents still don't know what the hell I do. Like, they don't understand this world at all, and so you know, it's that. Oh, my son's into those comic books, those anime things. He's into that weird stuff. So he's in that little alien category over here, right?
Right.
So we do have this internal conversation that we have to have within the black community to resolve the nerd space within the black community. But then we also have to have conversations with other communities. We have to be able to present some form of a united front when it comes down to being black representatives in non-black spaces and be able to feel safe and enjoy ourselves. And this is not the best example of a non-black space, because we are in a chocolate city, you know, and there are black people around, and we are everywhere, so it's not quite the same. But if you go to some of these other cons, you know, they're maybe just a little farther out.
Yeah, they are out there.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
5 of us guys.
Atlanta is not.
And I'm one of
It's
them.
not Georgia. Atlanta is not Georgia, right?
That's correct.
So
Right.
you go 40 miles outside of the city, you can see the clock turning back, your civil rights start rolling back. You're like, damn, hold on, let me get to Savannah so I can be free.
It gets real tough in Georgia.
But yeah, now we go into these spaces as a united front. We have to have dialogues about inclusion, about representation, and like, well, why is it okay for a black person to cosplay a white character, or you know, and not the other way around? Like, no, it's not a problem the other way. You just can't blackface when you do it. And we kind of have to have those
Right.
external conversations
Right.
too. And that's the process. Like, that's what we're working through. And you see that happening in these spaces. Because what
Yeah.
happens is, we're all safe here in the Georgia World Congress Center. But y'all gonna get in an Uber in these outfits, and you're gonna go to Gus's Fried Chicken. You're gonna go to Fat Matt's Barbecue.
Yes.
You're gonna go to Piedmont Mall. And
Yes,
you're gonna go
please.
to Perimeter. You're gonna go to Lenox.
Yes.
And you're gonna forget you was all safe. And you're gonna step in. As soon as you step in Lenox, they're gonna be like, oh Lord.
Right.
Like, you about to bomb this whole
Our
place.
own,
ain't you?
our
Like,
own people turn against us real quick.
Right. So,
Right,
you know,
that's
it's
sad
really
part.
cool to have this home base that we have, but we still know, as soon as you step like 3 steps out, like even the security guards outside in the,
Right,
like,
they
"Who, what
feel
y'all doing?
like- Right.
Who, what's that you got on?
Okay, I have to add to that.
Yes, please.
So, and Hilton knows I I low-key cosplay every day. I got something nerd related, usually Star Wars related.
Yes.
I had a black Lincoln Town on the back window. I got pulled over by a cop one time, and well, he said I was speeding, but I wasn't.
Right.
He took a picture of that. He was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's Star Wars, man." You know, it's not any big thing. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, I didn't think anybody would think to put that on their car." I'm like, "Man, I'm a nerd. I've been in this since '77." But he wanted to give me a warning about speeding. He really just wanted to like
Ask you what
what
are you doing? What is this?
Yeah, I always put that on my car. I got it on my current car now, and I've noticed when you put it on the front tag, people tend to get out of your way quicker. I think it's a psychological thing, because everybody knows this means it's the bad guys.
Right.
They run you
Darth
over.
Vader's coming.
Yeah. And it kind of helps that I drive a fast car, so they want to get out of my way anyway.
I love
yeah.
it.
Man used the Imperial insignia to get out of it.
I mean,
That's a new kind of story. I ain't heard that one.
Considering how the cops are now.
Right.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. Like, sir, what are you doing? Just wait a minute. Any second now.
I don't know, maybe it was a Jedi mind trick.
You don't feel an itch in your throat or nothing.
Sounds about
Get out
right.
of the car, sir. Stop resisting.
Fred,
Okay, this one.
He gets all these tangents. I'm like,
Yes, sir.
So y'all were talking about earlier, you know, like tangents and things of that nature, and like the stigma when it comes to being smart and black.
Right.
The thing that immediately hit me when you said that is that we've always been smart and black.
Amen.
Right? So when we talk about those things, when we talk about weird or eccentric and things of those nature, you know, it's very important to point out that that's what we always were, right? And that those things they don't both have to live in separate worlds. You can be both, and that is okay. And
Yeah.
we should push that more often and say out loud how okay that is. And that's all
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
I agree.
Listen, you know that's right up my alley. She knows I'm like extra crazy when it comes to that. You're absolutely right. We were born that way, to be young, gifted, and black. And that's how it started. But when you're here in the States, of course, and that's probably a panel for another time, we can continue the conversation, always. But it's been taught that, you know, black history starts at Jim Crow, or starts at,
Slavery.
yeah, the 13 colonies. It does not. It was long before then. So we was walking around looking like my brother right here, who I swear, it reminds me of Andre 3000, you know, from that video. But like, that's who we've been. That's how we were made and created. So it's incredible. You're absolutely right. It is not a new thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just exclusive.
Yeah, and I encourage y'all to stay weird. Stay weird, because the world just needs to catch up to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay weird.
Yeah.
And just
Yes.
to add on to what he said, there is something empowering about stepping into who you are, especially you as a nerd.
Yes.
Obviously I work out, but I used to just work out in like plain white t-shirts and just left it at that. But recently I just started wearing my nerd stuff. I started wearing my Demon Slayer shirts, started wearing my Power Ranger shirts, started wearing
Yeah.
my Panther stuff. And just,
All right.
just going in, like even like before I lift, like do this before I hit it there.
Yeah.
Yes. How proud. That movie made us so proud. Like, it just put like, it like awakened my soul. Like, I needed that movie more than I knew I needed it, you know?
Okay.
Especially because like, it was you, Walter, and T'Challa, like in my youth, like in the early 90s, like I discovered y'all all around the same time. I was like, oh,
Oh, wow.
that was
Wow.
so
To even
dope.
be in to even be in the same breath in that conversation makes
that
my
breath.
heart. Like, you know?
Oh no, look, my man is
black
blushing.
man,
Like
she's a hero.
look, this man is like into this conversation.
Yeah.
He's really fun. It's
Love
like
it.
you're
He's
speaking
leaning
from your
on-
heart. Like
he's
you are
leaning on
really
me.
talking about
Yeah.
where you live in this story. So I was enjoying it.
The
Yeah.
greatest thing that couldn't stand tall in it until recently.
Yeah.
Like, and that was like the point. It's like, I'm here. This is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. and what you-
Right.
Because if I shut myself, I limit myself. I limit my own power. I limit my own growth. And why would I do that for you? This is my life. And after it's over, then what?
You know, and half the people that have so much to say, like you said, they have no, like, they really have no effect on your life. They don't even contribute to your life to even have that kind of, to feel like they have the right to say something. It's so weird to me that people are very worried about what somebody else is doing. And I'm like, man, I always tell people the day you don't care what people think is the best day of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's the best day of the rest of your life.
It-
I want to
Yeah.
piggyback
Yeah.
off of something that Christi said
Yes.
that I think applies there. We talk about this idea of introverts and people who like are kind of, you know, have a low social battery and maybe don't like crowds and all this sort of stuff. I think that there's probably a lot of people who aren't necessarily introverts, you know, by title.
Right.
I think these are people who have not found their tribe.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
Because I have seen, because I used to work in higher ed, 20 years working in higher ed, and I've seen it time and time and time again. You know, an introvert, he's quiet, he doesn't like talking to people, whatever. And then you put him in a room with people who love World of Warcraft, or love Star Wars, or love, you know, One Piece, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, they can't shut up. And they talk for hours. Like, wait a minute, where was this low social battery and these low social skills and this, oh, he don't like people? It's like, you know, people who, like I said, I call them muggles lovingly. You know, when you're surrounded by muggles as a nerd, you know, you have to modulate your conversation. You know, there's just, you got to constantly, it's like driving on a street with a bunch of potholes. Like it's not efficient, right?
Yeah.
And you spend more time limiting, like, I can't say that, I can't chime in on this, I don't want to reveal or share this part of myself, and it is exhausting. But the minute you're around your tribe and the people who like really get you, you're like, oh man, like people understand when I start talking about this obscure thing that I thought only I was into, and then all of a sudden you're the popular kid in the room.
Yeah.
You're a One Piece fan, you're in a room full of One Piece fans, oh my gosh, now you are king of the hill, right?
Yeah.
And I think more and more people you see in these cons are finding their tribe. And there's like 60,000 people here, so don't tell me you don't like crowds. Don't tell me you don't like being surrounded by people,
Yeah,
you don't
right.
like conversations. All I see are nerds surrounded by people talking and having conversations.
Yeah.
You find your tribe, you attach yourself and build your community. And then all of a sudden you grow. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
planting a flower in the right kind of pot, right? And this is where we are. This is what we do here.
You know what's so funny is that, and then we realize, once you realize you kind of find your voice, you kind of find your tribe, then you realize the people you don't think would be in your tribe are in your tribe. Like, it's like people you would never suspect are nerds. Like, it's so funny. We were going to, what's the show in Seattle?
Emerald City.
Galaxy.
No.
Oh, Emerald City.
Emerald City. I was going to Emerald City Comic-Con. I'm on a plane in LA. It should be an easy 2-hour flight, right? I'm sitting on the plane, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're going to divert you guys and whatever. And the person sitting next to me, I don't know if you guys know him, but his name is Joe Manganiello. He's Sofia Vergara's husband. We were sitting next to each other. And so here we are on this flight. We just start talking and laughing. And he has this little dog sitting in his lap that's like mean as hell. And, and you know, he's like a heartthrob. He was on, you know, what is it? Magic Mike, and he was on True Blood, and I mean, we just like, oh, right? Nicest guy, biggest nerd, like is literally directing a movie about Dungeons and Dragons and the history of it. And he was like, oh my gosh, and like showing me all these videos, and literally has found every nerd in Hollywood that is like die-hard Dungeons and Dragons, and like his team are like bodybuilders, and like I was just like, oh my god. And literally we talked because this flight, we got diverted, and it turned into a 6-hour flight, and we're like next to each other for 6 hours, and it turned into this like one of the most interesting conversations. And I said, I'm so glad you're doing this movie and this documentary. I'm so glad you're directing it, because do you know how many people are going to feel empowered to finally be themselves because you're admitting how big of a nerd you are? He was like, I know. And he was, I mean, literally, guys, he was one of the biggest nerds. And so I always say, like, that's the beautiful part about these shows, because, I mean, honestly, you walk around, you look, it's every kind of person walking around, and every kind of person cosplaying, and especially the ones you never would think is like has the best costume. You know?
Yeah.
So I love it. Right.
It's called letting your freak flag fly. It's just like you were
Yes,
talking
your nerd
about
flag
in
or
the
freak
gym,
flag.
when you're-
Because both
you know,
are present here.
I'm co-opting an older phrase, so it applies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the fact that you wear, out in a neutral space, your nerd gear, you actually find other people who are into the stuff you're into
Yeah.
in places you didn't think you would.
Yeah.
Like I said, you wear your Morphin Time T-shirt, and then you go to a mall. So yes, you do go step out in Lenox, and you will get the people who look at you kind of crazy. But it's like that one person out of
Be
10
like,
that'd be
yo,
like,
yo, the biggest gangster coach.
right?
You're like,
It's like that like, okay, all right,
We've seen it.
I see you, right? And
see you.
everything you need to know about that person is on their shirt or on
Yeah.
their hat. And you can walk up and you have this commonality
Mm-hmm.
where you can kind of start a conversation and a dialogue. And that's why I say, when you come out of the nerd closet, you find more nerds. The more introverted you are and the more closed off you are, the less of your tribe you're able to find outside of these defined spaces. So if you're running around with an Imperial bumper sticker, or if you're running around with your, Luke Cage, I'm gonna work out in like this modified
Yes.
cosplay, people are gonna come up to you and be like, hey, I don't mean to pry, but you actually, I see that shirt, and
Something
people
to talk
don't know
about.
this about me,
Something to
but,
bond over.
and you just start building your community,
Yes.
and you just didn't know they were there before, so I encourage
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Right
we have
behind
this
you.
gentleman
Okay.
too.
Oh,
back
okay.
here.
And then we've got you right behind.
Okay,
our
let's go
friend.
here and here. He was waiting for a long time, sorry.
No, thank you. So, as someone who's played a lot of RPGs, one of the problems or benefits is that tabletop RPGs, I think, are kind of they haven't had how do I put it? They haven't had the change that other, I think, nerd aspects or nerd communities have.
Yeah.
Even when I'm playing a game of D&D, it's usually mostly other white nerds.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times where I'm online or offline, and I'll see a black character that's clearly made by other black people. I was just scrolling Twitter and I saw a black elf, and he had a do-rag on. I'm like, and it was just those simple gestures.
Yeah.
Or when creators in books put black characters or create black stories.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I think Chaosium Call of Cthulhu. This is nerdy stuff. But the point I'm trying to make here, they made it a Harlem.
We're here, man.
A Harlem-based Call of Cthulhu campaign. I'm I'm from Harlem. That's so cool. It's
Yeah.
just simple things that other black nerds or nerds do that make playing games fun. Because for me, and I'm sure for other people, there's a sense of investment and
Yeah.
joy from playing black characters. I mean, black queer characters
Absolutely.
or black coded characters, and it's just great.
Are you
Yeah.
direct from Harlem? You came here from Harlem, or are you
Yeah.
that's where your roots are?
Yeah, that's where we're I was born
Okay, but do you live there now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
You came
anyone who doesn't know,
Wow.
that's kind of our Mecca in this country.
Yeah.
Even if you disagree,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It is. And
Yeah.
it's the blackest place in the country, and the fact that he comes down here from one of the blackest quadrants of the country into this space and isn't laughing hilariously at us when we start talking about this being as black as it is, lets us know how black this space is. Because you're from the space where everything about it just basically speaks
Black
on
Renaissance.
the Black
Yes.
Renaissance, right? So.
I mean, it's also just hard finding black spaces for tabletop role-playing games, right?
Right.
They exist, but you have to curate them yourself. There's a lot of time, and RPGs are already on it, investment.
Yeah.
So,
MLK Library in DC. The MLK Library in DC, they have RPG sessions down there.
Oh, see, that was gonna
Look
have
at
a field trip, guys.
That's what we're here
We're
for.
we're gonna all be in DC when we go to BLERDCon in July. Let's do a couple of shameless plugs since we're here.
No shame.
Yeah, no
so,
shame.
BLERDCon, the Black Nerd Convention, is coming up on its 7th year, the 6th run, because everybody has to get a COVID break.
Yes.
And basically what we do with BLERDCon is we take the nerd space and we superimpose the black experience over it. And we do it in very deliberate ways, in ways that aren't happening in any other convention. And for some blatant examples are, we have a barber shop at BLERD.
Yes.
Like you just, you know, that,
BLERD.
you don't really have to go, we know what that means, right?
Yeah.
You know, we have a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament and we have a World of Warcraft, there's a lot of card games happening, but we also have a spades tournament.
Hey!
Right. Oh, and we're even this year instituting a set of workshops for those of us who got left behind at age 12 and didn't get taught spades by our aunt, uncle.
Yes, please.
You can actually learn to play the game so you don't get cussed out at the
we be
cookout at
revoking
home.
black cards.
I know, right? You get kicked
That's
all the way out the
actual game.
barbecue.
And it's like, we
Black
have
card
this,
Yeah.
so we also have this, it's a food truck rally. We curate like these black-owned food trucks of every variety, barbecue, fish sandwich, chicken, the whole nine. They're all black except for the ramen truck, and that's because it's
Yeah.
ramen, and you find a black-owned ramen
I eat my
truck.
way through
But right
ramen.
now, we'll let it go. And there's concerts and comedy shows and, video games, there's music everywhere. And as a con runner, doing a convention like this where there really wasn't much of a template to build from, I came in as a control freak and felt like I had to kind of put something everywhere. Just all these little side quests and Easter eggs for everybody all the time, everywhere. And what people really value, and this is being reported by the community that comes to the con, is that if you create a space that is flanked by all of these statements, even if you're not participating in the spades tournament or at the the barbecue or any of these other things, it creates a vibe and it creates a space for people to have their own experiences and their own interactions. And that's what they take away from the convention, is the people they met, the moments that they had, and that's what's special about it. So we just have to put enough together to create the vibe and the space and the context, and then get the hell out of the way and let the people
Let
come
them have
together and let
fun.
the community happen. And this will be Karen's third
Yes.
BLERDCon. And we don't do a lot of repetition when it comes to guests, but this
I've
will
made
be-
myself
mean,
family.
she's a
I'm a part of the BLERDCon family, whether they want me to be or not.
And here's the thing you need
And
to
luckily,
know.
they do want me to be.
We absolutely do. You're
Yes.
safe, trust me. And here's the thing to remember, BLERDCon is a 24-hour convention. And that's a very confusing thing for people because they all end up around 10 o'clock
5
wondering when
a.m.
we're going to kick them out
You
of the
can
building.
go and there's a panel happening.
Yeah, it's
Seriously.
No.
All.
We open the doors at noon on Friday, July 7th, and we don't turn the lights off and kick you out until 4 in the afternoon on Sunday.
Wow.
So if anyone here has an Adderall prescription that they were going to carry,
If you share it,
or
if you're
you
Karen
got
and sharing,
sponsored
let
by
us
Red
know.
Bull, whatever, this is the con to do it.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so
I
much for
can't.
this, and it's
Yeah. I can't encourage you enough to please, if you're ever in the DC area, check out BLERDCon. Like he said, it is, when I went there, I don't know how many years, but
This
my
is
first
2018,
year.
I think.
Yeah, 2018. And I was like, I'd never seen anything like it. I was just like, oh, it was the most beautiful thing. It was Wakanda before Wakanda.
Right.
It was just everything you could ever dream of. One thing I would love to suggest, there's a whole generation out there that does not know how to do the electric slide. We need an electric slide teaching. I have nieces and nephews where their parents have came to me and they're like, I know I needed my black card is revoked, but my kids don't know how to electric slide. She could teach the class.
Teach that class.
She could teach the class. So yeah. If you're in the Atlanta area, I have a con. It's called Ranger Stop and Pop. Yes.
What year is this?
It is our 4th year.
40?
It would have been 5, but COVID took one away. Anyways, it's our 4th year. We're so excited. It's not just a Power Ranger con, even though we are bringing about 30 Power Rangers. So we are celebrating 30 years of Power Rangers. We're going to have a Power Ranger birthday party. We have after parties. It's just so much fun. We will be having a JDF memorial because, you guys know we lost one of our heroes. But we also have a whole bunch of guests that are coming that are from pop culture guests to anime guests. We've got people who represent Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia. We've got people who are there from, Dragon Ball Z, everything. So we kind of cover all the bases. And all of you who are here, if you have not come to my table already, in this panel, you will walk away with a free weekend pass.
What?
To Ranger Stop and
Come on
Pop. So all of you will get a free ticket. I'll give you that. If I have enough, I'll give you 2 so that you can bring a friend.
Yeah,
because
before you
it's
leave.
important. Yeah, it's important for me that you guys are there. And yeah, it's June 16th through the 18th here at the Sheraton Atlanta Hotel, and we're just gonna have fun.
Now, if I
We're
could
just
say
gonna have
something
a-
about
we don't have a barbershop, but I need to like
I
get a barbershop.
mean,
Listen.
on the list.
Yeah.
We talk about black women in the nerd space, and we talk about representation. We talk about niches within niches within niches when it comes to that DEI thing. This is a black woman-owned convention that is thriving
Yes.
and growing, and we know her and we love her, and so we kind of like, we sometimes don't separate ourselves enough to even see that reality because we're so close. But you know, somebody said, hey, there is this 4-year-old downtown Atlanta con that is run by a black woman. We were like, what? And then where is this convention?
Right.
And then you're like,
Brandon.
oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's Ranger Stop and Pop. It's like, oh my God, you know, she is doing this thing. She lives it. She is promoting it. She cultivates these communities. And I think, you know, sometimes we just have to step back and go,
Aw.
oh wait, there is black girl magic happening
Hey.
as well.
Yes,
and we got to
it
like
is.
focus on it from time to time.
Thank
So.
you.
There it is.
Thank you. Same
There
to
it
you.
is.
Back at you. So yeah. Okay. So we got. What do we have? A little
Wait,
bit
I
more
want to
time.
say one thing.
Yes, please.
I just
talk,
want to say,
girl.
because I know I don't own a con.
She's
But
a part of our team, though.
I'm part of the
And the team,
team.
yeah. Yes. And the
Yes,
team.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Speak life.
And
I
trust
love
me,
it.
we're barely making it without our team. Quite a few people here are on our team.
Listen,
Yeah.
teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
So I do want to say this though, if anyone in here, if you pull your phone out, if you're not following the BOP, I mean, we are the BOP podcast, right? So this is the Blerd official podcast. This is your cast. We love we're at almost 1.5 years of doing this. I don't know if you all know this, but we started this like
Yeah.
last
No, you
January-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started this in,
I know, it's
in
crazy,
the beginning
right?
of the year last year. So we've
We had
been
some
together.
crazy conversations.
I know, right? The BOP Plus. That's all
Yeah.
right. That's because we have so much stuff.
Dana's one
swirling.
of our producers.
Dana is our
Yes,
writer. She's
yes.
incredible.
No.
So the 4 of us are here. That's why we're in this room together. And again, we love creating this space, this conversational, up close in person space to chat with you all. Again, it helps that the Yellow Power Ranger, our first superhero live action superhero, black woman, boom boom pow, all of the accolades, she gets it all. And again, 2 black Comic-Con owners. That's again in this space is just magnificent. I can't really fully explain it. But again, then we all have partnered together to do this thing that we love, and we get together, and every week it's hysterical because our pre-show is hilarious. We act the fool, and then the camera starts like we're recording. Okay, let's start. And then afterwards we always have some extra commentary. It just never really stops. And
We
then-
create this space every Tuesday.
every
On the
Tuesday.
box,
So if you're following, we love you, thank you. Please continue to support, spread the word, share always. And if you're not, what the hell is you doing with your life? I do not know. So anyway, yes, please
Yeah.
get into it.
I think there's a space we haven't discussed yet.
Yes.
HBCU engineering schools and computer science departments.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
So, back to the whole Wakanda.
Wakanda, exactly.
So,
Futurism.
when you say you walked in to BlerdCon and, feel like you stepped into Wakanda, that's kind of how you feel when you step on the HBCU campus.
Yeah.
You go to sleep and you wake up to black excellence every day. Okay? And then I work, I've met a bunch of my friends there. You know how they talk about variants in the MCU?
Yeah.
I met 4 of my variants in the School of Engineering. I mean, we kind of looked alike and we walk the same and move the same and
I
like
love
the same
that.
things.
Wow.
And we didn't pledge the same fraternities or take the same majors. But I think a lot of people don't realize that has actually been a blurred space for 100 years now.
Yes.
And, and it's not really the fandoms, it's more the career, the STEM-related career type thing. And we exist in a space where people, they sort of take insult for us being there. You're black. Why are you into computers? Why are you doing
I wrote a
this?
TV show about this.
Like recently, one of the AI ethics people at Google, a black woman, they let her go. And then like recently, the guy that's father of AI, he left Google so he could speak openly.
Wow.
So we have to exist in those spaces so we can control the data set so we can have our ideas expressed in ways that help humanity move forward.
Right.
Yeah. So
I love that.
that's been my thing, trying to get, younger blurs into, STEM careers.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause we got to be there, and I'm kind of tired of doing this shit.
No, listen.
Don't ever get tired.
He's currently recruiting.
The black
Y'all put him out of his misery, go to school.
The black community has these tethers to STEM education. They haven't been hard mapped out yet, but I understand that young people will embrace the culture before they embrace the curriculum. And it is one in the same where somebody embraces their nerdiness and then, is more free to look at, where they might decide to take their life track and all that sort of stuff. And so finding ways to because I get calls for this like literally every week. The Smithsonian is calling me, Lockheed Martin is calling me. I'm partnering with Bowie State, partnering with, HBCUs and some of these high schools in the DC metro area because they know that whatever it is that turns that light on for young black people is part of the same process that allows them to take these leaps that are academic and moving forward. So.
Hey. So
we might
I
be,
think
we might be running up against
We're
the-
running out of time.
No,
We got it.
something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
I got one last thing.
Yes,
to say.
please.
When
Her?
Sorry.
Oh, right behind you. Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
So, kind of taking in everything that was said, like wearing a shirt in a neutral space. Like I was wearing an Evangelion shirt at work. I work in a research lab, so
I love that.
and I'm one of 6 people who look like me in that space, but I was able to find other people who look like me. And the conversation started just because, I have an Evangelion shirt on, and the girl I was talking to had a Demon Slayer cup, so
Yeah.
we were able to strike up a conversation that way. And also, like, the younger generation getting into STEM. I've been trying to encourage my younger cousin to go into cybersecurity. He has an interest in fashion, and I'm like, you can do the cybersecurity and parlay that into all the other things. And it's also just been interesting kind of seeing the impact that I've had because it's really hard. I've had a hard go of it, but
Yeah.
I've been the nerd that I've been my whole life, and it's just coming to my attention that all my younger cousins and siblings have been watching.
Yes.
And I wasn't thinking about that, but
Wow.
like, I've got people coming. Like my cousin, she just came back from Korea because she's like, you were watching a Korean drama and that made me want to go. And I'm like, oh,
That's
sure.
amazing.
And that sort of thing. So, I guess.
So you heard of this game called World of Haiku? It is a cybersecurity game that teaches you cybersecurity as you play. Called World of Haiku.
Okay.
Like,
Well, there we go,
like
see?
Haiku, World of Haiku. Yeah.
Look at the bomb. This is why you come
See,
to the bomb.
this is why. This is why.
Because we made connections.
We're gonna
And
fellowship.
Listen, sis, I just want to give you, we're going to hug later, but I'm going to give you some encouragement. I think it is beautiful for you to share that part of your life, first of all, with us in this room. You are with your people, you with your folk, baby. We
We're
wrap
proud of
ourselves,
you.
wrap the love around you,
We're
and
proud
just
of you.
support and just keep doing it. Keep doing it, and again, don't shy away from telling your truth, who you are, what you do, what
We're
you
watching
love.
too.
Yeah, we're watching, and you're right. You're going to inspire so many more. So keep doing it and get in these spaces. Go mentor somewhere. Reach back. Sankofa says, go reach back and fetch it. Go back and fetch it. Go get it. So make sure you continue to inspire others that look like you and those that don't. You have no idea. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we got enough time for just 1 or 2 more. 3:30, so we should be done by now, but we'll take it.
One little thing.
Yes.
There's a lot of Jedi Masters at HBCUs. So,
Yes.
being that I was in STEM, I had to take calculus and all that. It wasn't like really difficult for me, but some of my classmates were like, man, this is really hard. And this is where the professor pulled the Jedi mind trick. He was like, listen to me. I don't care what they call the math. There's only 4 things you can ever do. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I'm here to tell you when to do where, and that's it. And right after that, the kids that had difficulty, the difficulty level just seemed to drop.
Wow.
And it was like, only 4 things I can do. I just need to pick when to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
All right, yes.
You guys, so when you said what you were saying,
Uh-huh.
like she wanted to say something.
For black people getting into geek culture, but she kind of brought it up that the younger generations in black culture have seen us and what we've gone through, and how we are ourselves, and they have been taking that and just being more accepting of just being themselves.
Yes.
So I like what you said, that your younger family members see you just being you, and then encourage them to be them. And I
Yeah.
think that's where the cultural
Greatest
shift of
gift.
where it started to be okay for us to be who we are.
Yeah,
And it's just been taking some time, but we're finally here.
yeah.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of the BOP, the Blerd official podcast.